for clarification.
Thank you very much for the floor, Mr. Chairman. The speaker behind me, MP Duran, made a statement just now, and it's going to be clarification, so I want to repeat it because maybe perhaps the minister might have been confused as well, because MP Brook knows fully well what is going on. Now, MP Brook asked in the second round, can the minister explain, thank you, can the minister explain what is allowed with regard, what is allowed or not allowed when it comes to the decisions that they took as the Council of Ministers to cancel the public meetings? And I asked whether it's indoor or to give more details. That is what I asked. The minister answered in the second round that the information is still forthcoming. So that's why I'm asking for clarification. Okay. What does it mean by the forthcoming? Is it that you received some type of information that led you to make that decision and you're expecting more? Or is it that, what is the reason, what was the situation in that particular that led the Council of Ministers to make that decision? I hope I'm clear now, Mr. Chairman, and that I have not confused the rest of my colleagues either, or the people of St. Maarten. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the Honourable Member Brugge. I now give the floor to the Member of Parliament, Utley. You now have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good day to the viewing and listening public, the Honourable Minister and his support staff. I'm no detective. Let me put a scenario together. Events happen. Everyone is fear-mongering. Everyone, adrenaline is high. You go to the Council of Ministers. You make a decision. You make a decision with no consultation of the experts, the authorities that are needed. The Council of Ministers said this is the direction we're going to take. Minister of Justice, go ahead, do your due diligence. Minister of Justice speaks to the relevant authorities, and relevant authorities say you're overreacting. You can correct me. You're overreacting. Minister of Justice now needs to do the due diligence. I am not confused. I, as the leader of United People's Party, went ahead and hold public meetings. Why? The minister stood right here, clear as day, and spoke slower than slow with the chief of police right next to him and said, I am the authority responsible for public safety in gatherings. Until I sign the regulation and it is published in the National Gazette, you can go ahead. Where and how are we breaking the law? Logic. We're members of parliament. Let's make sense out of nonsense. We have a council of ministers where almost everybody, if not everyone, is politicians. So my clarification to you, Minister of Justice, through you, Mr. Chair, is that where and who is specifically pushing this motive? Because the clarification I need is that you are seeming that you need to do due diligence, but every day while you are doing your due diligence, we are getting a different message being pushed in a different narrative. And maybe through you, Mr. Chair, you don't feel the heat till it starts to burn in your kitchen. Because when you have members of cabinet, Mr. Johnson, after specific arrest, can call different media house and say, how much would you take for me to put a story against MP Utley after an arrest? This is how far it's going. Okay? This is how far it's going. So I say to you, Minister of Justice, is this really a political motive, or is this a motive of a specific party? Because I hear that the party's meetings are getting less and less. I don't know where, but not with the United People's Party. Maybe that's why they are afraid to hold one. But I look forward to this clarification to find out where and who specifically in the Council of Ministers is pushing. And can we have a copy of the calm decision to see exactly what decision was made, through you, Mr. Chair, Minister of Justice. Thank you.
I thank you very much, Member of Parliament Utley. Members, I can understand our eagerness, or your eagerness, to want to interject with new questions in the clarification, but it's just a reminder that this is the clarification round, and I would encourage each and every one of you to please stick to clarification based on the answers that was given by the Honorable Minister. I now give the floor, I thank you for that. I now give the floor to Ms. Rusberg. MP, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for clarification's sake, I see that I missed that question and it keeps coming up. I keep on hearing no consultation, but wasn't there a letter, just to clarify that through you, Mr. Chair, wasn't there a letter sent by the Corps Chef that I understood just now in the answering in regards to the current safety? Could that be answered? Also, I heard the Minister, through you, Mrs. Chair, state that it's not clear that the incident that happened on July 17th, I think, that it was politically motivated. But I also didn't hear that it wasn't. So can that be clarified? That is it clear that it was not? And on the other hand, is it also clear that it wasn't? So I would like to know what is clear. So if that can be clarified.
I thank you very much, Honorable Member Rusberg. I see we have come and no. I will now give the floor to the Honorable Member of Parliament, Ms. Jacobs. You have the floor. Yeah, there was a little mix-up because the member of Parliament, Artwell, pressed before your person, but you stood up before him. So I would allow you to take the floor, MP Jacobs.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I stood because you called my name. I'm not seeing what you're seeing. Thank you for the opportunity. A lot has been said in these clarification rounds, and this is not a new question. It wasn't clear from the answers given in terms of the overall safety and security of St. Maarten. So with the rising gun violence that we have seen and the steps that have started to be taken, how do we classify, how do the people of St. Maarten now move around the island? Maybe that is how the question should be framed in terms of the overall safety and security of the population, because I don't think it relates to just whatever political or non-political. There was also another event last night, right? In terms of what's happening on the island. It's summer, people are feeling like I can't go anywhere with my children. So the misinformation or disinformation coming out of COM, or double information, whatever you want to call it, needs some clarity. So can the Minister, through you, please clarify in terms of the overall safety and security of the population, in terms of give the people some sense of how do we move around. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, Ms. Jacob.